unanimous.
Did you guys hear us from out in the hall?
Oh, we thought we'd be done.
Have to be louder next time.
Oh,
Well, that well, enough said.
In the crowd,
good point.
right?
Thank you. Just send us a bill. That was great. So.
It's good.
Okay, let's see. So we are ready to move on to item number 5, discussion and possible action regarding real property located at approximately 1570 West Ritter Drive. Mr. Brooks.
Thank you. For the record, so we cover all this. Everyone's aware we have that main piece of property up there on Ritter Drive that's been sitting there for a while, and we've now rezoned, and there's a little sliver piece as well. I had this appraised some time ago. We received that back just so we had a pretty good idea what we could expect from that. In the meantime, while we were working on this, we actually received an offer from Jen Barlow as a purchase on picking up both those pieces of property. And I've presented that to the council in the amount of $107,000. The appraisal came back actually at 95 just for the big piece. We didn't have the separate piece done, but her bid on that, she had used a formula that she arrived at that conclusion, and I think that would probably be fair. But having received that and looking at the overall value of the project, as a staff, we've met and discussed this extensively. We think that offer is probably very fair to the city. And not just that, we have to take into consideration what else could be done with it. And in reality, we want that whole piece developed. And without her taking this piece on, that's probably not going to happen, not the way we see it now. So as a staff, we would recommend to the council that they move forward on this and allow us to post that as an option that we would consider letting them purchase that for that amount. Under our code, to do that, we have to give a 14-day notice and then have to have a public hearing. So if we posted this tomorrow, if the council direct us to do so, then we could bring this up as a final on the next city council meeting, and that's the recommendation I would present to the council. And I think it's fair. There's a couple other little things in there as far as clearing up some landlines and different things that they've also discussed with us that I think will benefit the city. So overall, this is a good deal for us, and I think it's going to be hard for us to pass it up. So it would be my recommendation that you give us that direction. Let's move forward on that.
Any questions or comments on that? If not, a motion to be in order. Councilor Arnold?
I would move to approve to move forward on the purchase contract with one stipulation that the city staff be given the authorization to do any type of small negotiations, lot lines, anything that might come across so you don't have to come back to the council with that, but you can actually make the changes if it's not a major change, to put it in the staff's hands.
Good.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Bart?
Councilor Stevens on the second?
No, it's okay.
Just a little quicker on that, Councilor.
Loud and
Okay, any discussion on
I
that?
think in the motion he said purchase, but meant the sale of property.
Right.
Okay, the sale, the move forward on the sale of property, yeah.
in order
and
to
posting.
sell, you gotta purchase.
He's talking from the buyer's perspective.
Okay, should we poll the council on that? Since
would,
it
yes,
involves a dollar?
yes.
Okay, so
So do I need?
do we need to state the dollar amount?
I would put that in there as well, yes.
So the motion would be amended from purchase to sale, and not to be less than $107,000.
Okay, is the second agreeable to that?
Second's agreeable.
Okay, all right, we'll poll the council.
Aye.
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 Okay, that's unanimous, that's good. That is exciting. We'd like to see that property move forward, I think all of us, so hopefully something good comes from that. Number 6, consideration of resolution 2022-02 declaring property as surplus and authorizing the sale of the same. Mr. Brooks.
This is just an old truck that's been sitting around 1997, Ford F-350. It's got a utility bed on it. We haven't used it for some time. It's just taking up space. And they just asked that we get this in front of you and let us surplus this as well. So that's what we're requesting.
Okay, any questions or comments on that? Okay, if not, a motion would be in order. Counselor Arnold?
Move to approve resolution 2022-2 declaring property as stated within the packet.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
There we go. We got a second. This is a resolution. Ms. Maragoni, will you pull the council?
Aye. Oh, did you say
Hilton or
Hanson?
Hanson?
Can you
sorry.
speak up?
Can't hear.
Councilmember Stevens. Councilmember Arnold.
Aye.
Councilmember Hanson.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. That's good. Get the money out of that truck. They're selling for top dollar right now.
Michelle,
So
that's
good
more
timing.
my ears than your voice, so.
appreciate the city moving forward on that. If we can find some more trucks to sell, that'd be good.
Even Bart.
Okay. All right, number 7, consideration resolution 2022-03 to fill a vacant seat on the Riverdale City Council. Mr. Brooks.
This is just kind of a follow-up to our last meeting. As part of that process that we adopted previous to that meeting, we had some processes in place. One of the very last things there that I had incorporated in there was that after the swearing in, we are to follow that with the resolution, and it's my fault. I overlooked that, but I did notice it since then, and so I've submitted this resolution just to just follow procedures and do it right, because that's how you had approved it, and this is just certifying that Karina is filling that vacant seat. So
Can she make the motion?
she's already sworn in, so yes, she could.
Wow.
Okay, any questions or comments? If not, we would need a motion.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion, and we have a second. Any discussion? Okay. All right, resolution, so will you poll the council?
Councilmember Stevens.
Aye.
Councilmember Hanson.
Aye.
Councilmember Merrill.
Aye.
Councilmember Arnold.
Aye.
Councilmember Hilton.
Aye.
All right, that's good. Now it's even more official than it already was.
I thought we were going to run into that more often, I'd take it out. But since that's the first time in 20 years I've seen it, I'm not too worried about it. But it is what it is. So.
Okay. All right, number 8, consideration of resolution 2022-04, approving a contract for the city administrator. Are there any questions or comments from the council on this item? Counselor Hanson.
I don't know if it's best to work from top to bottom. I have a couple of adjustment suggestions.
Okay.
For contract.
Okay. I kind of wish Miss Como was here.
Yeah, no, you're right. She was kind of the one that put it together, but
Yeah.
we can talk to the person who it involves, and maybe he would agree to it.
Okay.
So it might not be a big deal. So.
Let us know.
I guess he's an attorney too, and we got.
Yeah, he's seen a couple
so
of
hopefully
these.
he can keep us on the HR bandwagon too. But
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, on the first whereas, just to make it more clear, I would add, in addition to retaining him as the city attorney, just to make it clear that he's handling both roles.
That'd be good. I wouldn't have an issue with that.
Actually, I think I just have it up here. And then, as a contract reviewer, I always have an issue with an auto renew, especially an indefinite one. But it seems appropriate here. I think it might work just to add something that states like no less than 60, no more than 90 days prior to the end of a 1-year term, that the council has the right to an executive session to discuss any cause to not continue with the renewal, to allow time to address the issues. Something to that effect.
And I don't have a problem with that. I think Stacy actually put that in. I think she's a little bit concerned where we had that one fall through the cracks with Roger, and they were trying to avoid that. I don't have any issues.
That way
with
it allows it to auto renew unless
Right.
somebody on the council wants to bring it up, but then it.
Yeah,
has
that wouldn't be
provision.
an issue.
I like that because the auto renew. I mean, even though we did have that one, yeah, I'm always nervous
my
about
opinion.
auto renew. We'll just finish with Counselor Hanson if that's okay.
Just a minute.
Oh, okay.
So auto renew is a, now say that again, the 30 days or 60 days, what was that again in auto renew in lieu of?
Unless.
It states right now that it would auto renew at the end of the 1-year term. So I would just add something that says that the council has the right to hold an executive session between 60 and 90 days prior to that time to discuss the character and fitness of whether to.
So 30 days before and 30 days after, is that what you're saying?
No, 60 days 90 to 60 days before, because that gives,
Before.
that way if there's any issues that come up, it gives
Okay.
everybody time to work out the issues or provide notice if that's,
But
you
it's
know.
also, one of the things you're saying is for cause. So that's like having a meeting saying, is there anything for
We
cause?
don't need cause, do we?
Yeah, oh no, we need
Right.
cause.
Well, for something like that, you probably would if you're just
If
not.
we just don't renew, we need
You
cause.
can't,
I mean, technically, the council can do whatever they want at any time, but you could run into some contract issues with it. But I think what she's proposing there works. I don't have issues with it. I think it just gives you guys a chance to say something rather than just make it an automatic renewal.
And as elected officials, it just looks better that occasionally we're reviewing
Right.
Yeah.
indefinite
So
contracts.
it has to be in that window, 30 to 60 days.
It's the
prior.
idea.
But don't we have the right to have an executive session
Right.
without
Yeah, if there
this
was a
clause,
cause there, you
and
could
then don't we
always
have the
come in
right
and
to
do
not
that. Right.
renew
Right.
and just notify you whatever time period we feel like?
but one of the things that's good about this is the auto renew, because with Roger, he didn't have the auto renew and he just let it slide, and so he was not operating with the contract, so having an
Right.
auto renew is.
I'm all for the auto renew, and especially you're a 1 year term and you're hanging out there because you have no security
Yeah.
beyond.
No,
1
I don't.
year.
I think this works. It kind of satisfies everybody. So.
He's flying with the net. He can just be like, oh, I'm gonna be the attorney.
Yeah, I'm.
That's my golden parachute
It's a
there,
good
Alan.
net.
And the only other last thing is just there wasn't an address, but maybe we could just put as on.
You know what?
file with HR.
And I saw that and I knew that. I just didn't really want to make that a public
Right,
record.
that's
You
what
know
I
what I'm
figured.
saying? We don't generally release those things, so that we can add that in.
And if you just want to put as on file. with
And I don't
Human
mind putting it in
Resources.
there on the one that Braden signs. We're fine on that. I can add that. I planned on doing that. The address or the zip code she had here was incorrect anyway, but I had that marked. I knew that. But you're right. We'll have that done when he signs.
Those
it,
were
so-
my only suggestions.
And you're okay with all of those?
Yes.
And I mean, this is being recorded, like, because it's kind of hard to get it all jotted down, but we can work through it through the recording. Okay. Next, Councilor Arnold.
So who is second in command now? Because every time we've had an issue with the city administrator leaving, whatever, being sick or something like that, who does it fall to? Who's the deputy?
Well, that's something I'd need to sit down with Braden because that's something that kind of he needs to decide. So we'll have to sit down and discuss that with him. We currently don't have anybody, but
Right.
we will. We will. We just haven't. We needed to get this part done first, but I'll meet with him probably even this week or first chance we get.
'Cause
So.
I have, so we can figure out how to say this as a concern. That just Roger got sick, was out. You know, you filled in and took care of that. I would like to see something that, I mean, I'm not wishing any ill will on you at
Yeah,
all.
thanks,
the
Al.
city, but say you'd pick Stacy as the deputy, whatever, that even if you're not performing the duties, that money can be transferred to the acting. You know, you'd still get your city attorney pay based on your leave and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know how it worked with Roger, but to just be able to say whoever's acting in the city administrator function is getting paid to do that in case you're out. You
No,
know?
I understand that. In both those cases, when I did take over, I didn't do that until the mayor appointed me and came in and bounced it off of you guys. So we feel that's the important process to follow. Again, it's going to be his appointment with your advice and consent. So immediately, like when it first happened, I had to jump in. We had no choice. We had to move on both of those. But we did bring that into you as first chances we got. And I would anticipate the same format on now as well. So.
And then when you did get appointed acting, did you get a salary increase?
There was a little stipend, but it wasn't a whole lot. But I wasn't worried about money. I didn't anticipate either one of those were going to be as long as they were. But it is what it is. I'm not worried about it. So
Yeah, and the reason I just bring that up is because we have a budgetary issue
Right.
that we're creating. We're going to have an excess for one that can actually be, 30 days, you're like, I'm not digging this, I'm out. So all of a sudden, we're looking for another city administrator that takes us from a $24,000 a year to $100,000 a year.
right.
So I was even hoping Cody would be here with with that question, so.
I mean, I can discuss that with Cody if we need to budget that in. I don't anticipate that's going to be the case, but you never know when those kind of things happen. We can look at something. I'll meet with Cody about it and we'll
He
talk
could
about it.
probably transfer it from one fund to another.
Right.
if
Yeah,
it
I mean,
comes
I
up.
think we would still place that in there, so it's still there if something happened. We can always use it. I think we can handle that, Alan. We'll handle that in the budget when we get going.
Okay. In 2.4, there's a bonus clause, and it says pursuant to any governing body. What does that mean? What's any governing body?
Well, it would be you guys. That's the only governing body. This was the old contract that Larry had and Roger had and everybody. So a lot of these terms and conditions were previously in there. I don't know that that's ever been
'Cause
exercised
we're
either.
a
But,
6-member council.
right,
So that is the governing body. So
right.
I was wondering if Braden signed something that put him as a, no, I'm just kidding.
The RDA could be a governing body as well. So
It would be any.
it could be the RDA, but when it comes to budgets, though, that falls on your shoulders. That's not the mayor. I mean, for him to
The
make
RDA
a
is still
major
the governing
change.
body. It's the, I mean, it would be a different one, but it's the same
Right.
people.
It's still going to come through your doors. Any budgetary issue would have to. So
That's, and I I don't like contracts, but I don't like one-sided contracts. And this is just for cause. So, and I guess we can say, performance isn't to the level that we had hoped, and that, is that cause? Or
I mean, I think it would be.
Yep. I mean, I don't foresee it, because honestly, since in the time, I don't know how the staff has felt, but in the time that you've been acting as the city administrator, it's been great. It really, you've done a wonderful job, especially getting in and fighting for some of the businesses and what we've been saying we've been trying to do and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it really has been great, but I'm just looking at contract wise and,
no, I would consider that being cause if there was issues like that.
okay.
And I would expect you to say something. So
Okay. What in 9.2 it says, and I had to look this word up and I still don't understand what it is, but this agreement shall be binding upon the parties and inure the benefit and heirs of the law and executors of you.
right. So if
I-
I died and my wife wanted to sue you for my vacation or something like that, she could do that.
But it also, the way the contract's written and the way I read it, which I'm telling you, I'm like about 49% sure on this one. But it's like your heirs could take your contract and take your job.
No,
Yeah, it
I don't
is.
think they can take his job.
If you everything we do in this contract goes to his heirs and executors of him.
I mean, it's meant to be. If we get absorbed by the terrorists, then we're a different name, but we're still binding.
I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying, but it's not in reality going to happen. One,
For sure.
they
But it's
couldn't.
weird.
Yeah,
So I'm like, it's just. I mean, it's
none of my heirs would have any experience to do either one of these jobs.
Oh, we
so I-
fire them for cause right
yeah,
away.
you could fire them for cause immediately.
We're not saying you have to have. They might come in and do a wonderful job. I don't know.
You don't know my heirs. Alan. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I was just in the contract. It's just a strange clause.
Again, that was one that was a holdover from Larry's, or it might have even been pre-Larry, to be honest with you. So
But this,
Read it that way.
but 9.2.
No court would read
So
it
it's
that
it's
way.
basically the $2,000 a month because you have everything else as an employee. So you're a contracted employee, but you also have the net of the employee side. So I mean, it's actually pretty solid for the city and for you.
It's a great question. Are you still civil service then, or are you? now
am I still what?
contract? Are you still?
I still
protected?
continue on as the city attorney.
Okay, so you're protected by all
Right,
those rights.
and then just the additional on top of that to compensate for time and work and meetings and all that kind of
when
stuff.
we fire you, we'd have to have a board, a civil service board to
No,
examine that.
no,
That's
not
it.
as the
We
department
can,
head.
We can fire him from being a city administrator,
And leave him as the attorney.
and he still goes into the attorney
Alrighty,
office.
I get it.
Right.
Yeah,
I get
it's I think it's pretty solid,
Or
actually.
he
I
could
just,
quit if he wanted.
Or he
as a
could-
Or I
second.
could quit, right?
I was just thinking
Mutual way to look.
that's a crazy clause in a contract.
It is. Yeah. I mean, we could tweak that if it made you feel better. I don't see that ever even coming
Within
into
reason.
play.
You just
Here
put
we're
in the end of
thinking-
it with Stephen Brooks.
No
within
court would
reason.
read it that way.
Yeah, I don't see a court enforcing that ever.
Saying that your wife's taken over.
No,
Right.
no court would read it that way.
You wouldn't
I don't
want
know.
my wife. She's mean. So
Our legal attorneys are telling us.
Attorneys are telling you their opinion, and the court, the reason you have two attorneys is because they're both telling you their opinion, and then the court comes in
tells you something
and
else.
the court says, I want to enact this contract. And
We
you can
just
laugh
fired
at it
us
all you
off.
want, but you're signing you're approving a contract with someone, and it's just it's a valid question to say why are we having this in the contract?
We could put. I mean, at the end of that, if that makes you feel better. Just put in there for any outstanding benefits or bonuses or something like that. So again, it would just be applicable to pay or vacation stuff that I would be entitled to.
Or, yeah, applicable only to,
Right.
Applicable only to compensation.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
I'm fine with
I just
that.
thought, well, and like I said, I'd looked it up, and I'm like, I don't even know, still don't know what that means.
Yeah.
In the word?
Newer.
It's,
Yeah.
Manure.
I mean, the clause of the contract just basically says that his heirs can, are subject to the contract too now.
Legal word.
So I thought it was, I'm like, what's in there? I don't know what in there is.
Legal words.
Yeah, you don't see it very much. Once in a while, you bump into it.
Anyway, that's,
Those fancy words.
the budgetary, the backup. So just so we know who that
Yeah, the
person is, I
backup, yeah.
think it's,
That's a good question. Really
We
good
can
question.
plug that in. That's not a big deal.
But we wouldn't put that in your contract, would we?
What's that?
We wouldn't put your backup in your contract.
My backup? No.
No,
No,
but
that'll
we
be
need to
something
get
we'd
that
handle by
addressed, though.
policy. Yeah.
the one thing that I think is fair is that the funds, in case you're not, the same thing happened happened with Roger, and you're out, and somebody's filling in for you. I think it's only fair to take those funds to the person that's doing the job. And like I said, I hope till the day you retire, there's not a,
Yeah, let us all hope that this is,
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
This is
We don't want to keep
for a
doing
while.
this.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
I just
wanna do this
think that
again.
having the contract, because like right now, the way it's written, we approve
Yeah.
the contract. It doesn't have that. You were gone for a year. We're still paying you while somebody's filling in and getting a stipend. And I think while we're allotting that money in there, it's just would be something that we could say, he's not performing those duties. We can take those funds out and put them to someone who is doing that job.
The way that it's worded, I think that it covers that. 2.2. That's a good suggestion.
Oh, that's true.
That one I did add, but that would be different from Larry's because it's a different situation. So
No, that's true.
Yeah, that covers that. If he wasn't doing it, then we wouldn't pay
I
him.
agree with Annie on that for 2.2.
Okay.
That was
I mean,
good.
we'd probably have to bring it back into a meeting and say, he's not, but
Yeah.
yeah. No, I think
yeah,
right, Annie?
the little stipend they gave me, I don't think they ever brought that into you. That was just something the mayor did, and it did come out of that salary. Is where that would have come from. I mean, you're talking probably $200 a month or $300. I don't know what it was. It wasn't a lot, but
Gas money.
huh?
Gas money.
It's about what it was. But that's fine. I mean, at the time, we weren't anticipating 5, 6, 7 months long. We thought it was going to be a lot shorter on both those. So
That's all.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. If not, we would need a motion on resolution 20. Let's see. How are we going to include all this stuff? Just including the stuff that we've discussed?
I would just say, as we've discussed and agreed to it, I guess probably we should make sure we've got a full council vote on each one
Yeah.
of them.
Shouldn't we also include appoint you to the position?
Yeah,
And
that-
approve the contract?
Yeah.
Okay.
Resolution.
Yeah.
So, consideration of resolution 2022-04, approving a contract for the city administrator as well as is appointing you in that resolution?
Yeah.
It is too, okay.
Yeah.
So just approving the resolution. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion.
Go ahead, Steve.
As amended by,
Including all the amendments and
Not-
Mr. Brooks is,
I don't know that, Alan, did you actually propose an amendment? Sorry, I'm just, you asked questions, but I don't know that you ever,
Yeah, I was just saying as we talked about,
Yeah.
so that's true.
Can we see this actually typed up?
before we approve it.
You can do what you want. It prolongs it, but I mean, I can get you a final copy of it, Bart, afterwards if you want.
I mean, that's, because this is getting kind of confusing as to what was.
Can we approve it and get it taken care of, and then just maybe even have something on there to make sure that we're
Have it sent out
anything?
minus your address, but. sent
Yeah,
out.
I mean, you could
I'm
approve it
clear on
subject to
all
what
the
we've
changes and
discussed
I
and
think
what's
we need
been,
to get it going.
specific.
Right.
yeah.
But I'm
we
not
could
clear
run
on
through
that one.
we could run through the changes.
Yeah, let's do
Counselor
that.
Stevens.
Yeah.
Let's run through and make sure everybody's agreeable
Yeah,
to
and
them.
then we
So,
can vote on it.
we have the auto renew with a clause that says we're going to have the option of looking at it with an executive
30
session.
to 60 days, yeah.
Is it 60 to 90 or 30 to 60? What was
No
your?
less than 60, no more than 90.
Okay.
What number's that, Annie?
Good question. I didn't write it down.
Be right here.
Let's see. 6.1.
Oh, yeah.
So you just could put it on the agenda for every November?
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Because if it's a one-year contract, and
Yeah,
Just remove it if we decide we don't want to.
absolutely.
Yeah, you don't have to do an executive session.
You know, let's do it in conjunction with Festivus. During the evenings.
What was your next change?
And then that first whereas, just adding in addition to retaining him as the city attorney.
And then you had the address as well, but that.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
that's
we'll
an
do
easy,
that.
Yeah.
thing we can take care of.
And then
that.
9.2 was Mr. Arnold's to add that it would be just for compensation.
Yeah.
Compensation, yeah, money or vacation,
Yeah.
any
So
of the
really
benefits.
there's only
Applicable
like
benefits.
Yeah, there's not that much.
3
there.
small changes, I
Right.
think.
Did you
Yeah.
have other ones, Alan?
Nope.
Okay, so now you can.
Okay,
as
with that,
amended.
Counselor Stevens, like those changes, you understand all those, and everybody understands that.
What was the paragraph for the compensation? Is that the 2 point?
it's just a 9.2.
9.2.
And it's just,
Yeah,
we're
right, so that's just adding.
not right to come in and clean out your office or anything like that. Probably some valuables in there.
If you can find it.
Bring in the pickers.
We got unearthed that.
Yeah, I put a bid on that thing. So. Okay, all right. So we had a motion, Counselor
Including the amendments that we
Arnold.
just clarified.
and did we have a second?
Needs to have the appointment. Did
Okay.
you make the appointment?
It's in the
It's in the
resolution.
resolution,
Then I'll second it.
and so we have a second as well. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, will you please poll the council?
Counselor Henson.
Aye.
Counselor Merrill.
Aye.
Counselor Arnold.
Aye.
Counselor Middleton.
Aye.
Counselor Stevens.
Aye.
That's fantastic. That's
Congratulations,
unanimous.
Mr. Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
If I could just maybe say something here, just maybe to partially clear my own name, I've been accused of seeking this out. That has never been the case. I haven't been thrilled about this, I'll tell you, to be honest with you. I look at what's coming up on the future agenda here between now and the next 10 years, and we got some big stuff coming up. And I look at it, you know, with a little bit of hesitation. I mean, I'm nervous because we've got some big things. But on the other hand, I also think that I've been around through a lot of this stuff, and I can probably add something to it. Whereas we bring in a new guy, especially because we're not going to get the big experienced guy that we're going to need. it would be scary, and we don't know what we're going to get. So I think a lot of the staff are comfortable because they worked with me enough, and we get along well. And I think it'll be a good move, and it's going to be a challenge, though. And I've told Braden this: we've got some big things coming up. You look at West Bench and the Bach development, the senior center, all these things are going to be coming to a head in the next 10 years. So it's going to fall on your guys' shoulders, and we're hoping we can just steer that and make this as painless as we can and keep things going the way we always have, because Riverdale's a great place to work, and I've been thrilled to be here, and I plan on retiring here. So we'll do our best, do what we can. But I appreciate your confidence, and I certainly do the staff, because I know they've been pushing me hard on some of this. So we'll see what happens. Should be fun. Not
Thank
fun,
you.
but it'll be good. So.
Yeah,
That's the smoothest contract negotiation that I've been a part of with the city.
yeah, that is.
Because it was so easy for you.
He caved on it.
Didn't make you stretch on that one.
And we do appreciate you working with us on some of those items. You knew what some of the pressure points were, and
Yeah.
and I didn't see them in that
I wasn't going to do that
contract, so-
again. So.
So that was good.
We're
You've
good.
seen some of them too. So
I warned Bill previously. I said, do not do this and this and this, and he did, and we had those issues. So I wasn't going to repeat it.
yeah.
Would you like to say nanny, nanny?
No, wouldn't do that.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to comments. I did just have one comment. I see our police chief here, and I know she's not a resident. An individual was pulled over by one of our police officers, and she had a very pleasant interaction with him. She had a brake light that was out, and he did not know who she was, I don't think, and that was probably a good thing. But it was a very pleasant interaction. So. No, it wasn't a wife. It wasn't
Daughter,
her wife.
mayor's
yeah.
daughter.
Yeah. But
Didn't name
Former
drop.
resident.
she also, the same person, was substitute teaching at Riverdale Elementary and gave very high marks to the police officer, Officer Lovato, that was helping over there the other day for their. I got a text from the school, said that the police and the students did fantastic. So pass that on. They appreciate all that help over there. They did like a lockdown drill or something, and anyway. Can't imagine having to herd those kids out into the field. But, let's see. Any comments from the city council? None. All right. City staff?
Maybe just a couple quick ones. We've come across a couple of businesses who are operating without business licenses, and we've cracked down really hard on that just this week. And just tonight, Michelle got a text from one of the big players that has been playing games, and I think we've got those resolved. One of which, though, was a little bit of a surprise, was Firehouse Subs. They're back open that we didn't know about.
Wow. That's
And
crazy.
so we had to go in and say, there's things you have to do, but they're jumping through the hoops, but they did not know that. The other thing I would say, and this is good news for us, is not that those are bad news, that we just cleaning stuff up. So it's weird how people sometimes just pick and choose whatever they want to do. But one of those was a big player that you would not expect it to come from. So, but we've got that resolved, I think. When they start getting notices on their doors, they start to squirm a little bit. So, but the big thing was that Maverick has pulled their building permit. They're ready to roll. So we'll be seeing action. In fact, I've already seen them up there. They're already doing a lot of things. So you'll see a lot of activity up there. So that was good news. We were happy to see that finally. That's all.
That's exciting.
I just wanted to say thank you for working with them instead of having drama with they need a business license, work with them, get it done.
Yeah.
And because we want them here. We want them.
We've had some really good, positive meetings this last 2 weeks with businesses that we've had issues with over the years. And I think we're going to see big things. Good relationships that we haven't had. So it's all turning good. I think I've been excited with it. It's just a lot of issues we've had in the past, and we're kind of cleaning some of that stuff up, and it should be a good benefit for Riverdale. So,
We're about to explode in a lot of ways, I think.
yeah.
A lot of exciting things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah. Councilor.
so it was brought up. When are we going to find out anything about this Larry H. Miller purchase that was on the record tonight?
Well, it's all been part of that package with D. Hansen, but he's brought them in as a partner with them financing on that back parcel. We have not seen anything yet. We actually met with some of those parties today and discussed some of the things. Yeah, and we have a meeting tomorrow. There's nothing that solid. So for them to say that, we don't know. So I mean, that's what I would tell them when I call them tomorrow.
Okay.
What's that?
Yeah.
That's an
It's
RDA.
not
Yeah.
gonna be a car dealership. If they are our investors.
I kind of doubt it, but we haven't heard that.
They've moved into real estate.
Yeah.
Sold their car
They're
dealerships.
real estate.
All Larry H. Millers.
All Larry H. Miller.
But they are well aware of it, as are we. Just so you all know, Scott, Chief Brinkman, and his guys are down there probably weekly, cleaning that place out, and they just come right back. So it's not like we're not aware of it. You can see paths in the snow down there, well-worn paths. It's kind of like the hangout right now. But we can only do so much. We take them out, and they're back the next day. But we've had a couple stabbings and all kinds of stuff up there. It's not like we don't know that's going on. So Mike or I will get back to them tomorrow and kind of, the other thing on that fence and stuff, I think that's a private fence, so I don't know there's a whole lot we can do, but we'll get back with them tomorrow and discuss some of those things.
Landowners and have them clear it up.
Yeah, and that's what, I mean, we could technically, because it does look bad and it's probably a nuisance violation, but
That, I mean, like I said, I went back there with her and I looked
Yeah.
at it, it's a lot of growth. There's a lot of undergrowth and there's a lot of.
and I agree. It's just that, again, it's one of those things that how involved does the city get on these things? I mean, obviously, if it's something that's really obvious and we all see it, then we're going to do something about it. But those are always tough ones on those nuisances. But you know, we're aware of it. We've been looking at all those issues that they raised tonight. That's not news to us. It's just we're somewhat limited on what we can do. A private fence, we can't make anybody put a private fence back up. We can make them clean it, but we can't force that fence to come back up.
We're
so.
not gonna manage the deer herd in downtown Riverdale.
And in all honesty,
Too.
that deer herd's gone when they start to develop that, and that's just part of. They'll just move down the hill. They'll still be there, just not right in that spot. But there's nothing we can do about that.
They nest in there and it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They nest
Yeah,
behind
they
there.
follow that hillside down. They're all along there.
I would encourage a little bit of compassion towards those poor people in the corner. I was up
I
in their
agree.
backyard this weekend, and I mean, they have a garage back there that had been hit so hard that it was collapsing, and so they had cables, and they were slowly laying it to the ground.
Right.
They've experienced a huge hit
Right.
on their.
Do we need Jersey barriers or anything that we can?
You know,
do?
I
Sean,
don't
can
know
you-
that any of that's going to happen or help. It's just it's one of those situations, and for whatever reason, we had two of them right there, really close together. But when we have bad weather, somebody takes that corner bad. The other guy was a DUI, so how do you stop that? I mean, there's only so much we can do. But if they take that corner too fast and that road's slick, they're going over the side. It's just a fact of life. So I don't know there's a lot we can do. I mean, I've talked to Scott, I've talked to Sean, and I think we're all in agreement that we're kind of stuck. But we'll at least get back to them so they know we just didn't ignore them. So.
Okay, nothing else. We need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second?
We have a second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Adjourn.
We're adjourned.
I wait for you to look away.
You're great.